Imagine this. You and your co-workers just won a union election. You followed all the rules. You voted, and you won. It's a huge victory, a moment of real hope for better pay and safer conditions. But then, nothing happens. Weeks turn into months. Months turn into years. And that victory you celebrated feels like it's stuck in limbo. This isn't a hypothetical situation. It's the reality for many American workers right now. Today we're rediving into a critical issue that is quietly affecting millions. The slowdown inside the very institutions designed to protect workers' rights. We'll explore why the system is backlogged, what it means for your wallet and your job, and what the future of work in America might look like. To understand what's going wrong, we first need to understand how the system is supposed to work. Back in 1935, during the Great Depression, the U.S. government passed the National Labor Relations Act. This landmark law created the National Labor Relations Board, or the NLRB. Its job is simple but powerful: to act as a referee for labor relations. The NLRB oversees union elections to make sure they're fair, investigates claims of unfair labor practices by employers or unions, and helps ensure that workers have a legal path to organize and negotiate for better conditions. For decades, this system was a cornerstone of the American economy. Many economists credit the NLRB and the collective bargaining it protected with helping build the largest middle class the world had ever seen. When workers could negotiate as a group, they secured higher wages, safer workplaces, and better benefits, creating a more balanced and prosperous society. So, if the system was designed to be a powerful tool for workers, what happened? In recent years, the gears of the NLRB have started to grind incredibly slowly. A lot of this comes down to politics and legal battles. Every time a new presidential administration comes in, the leadership of the NLRB can change. This can lead to long periods where the board has vacancies, meaning there aren't enough members to make decisions. Think of it like a court with too few judges. The cases just start piling up. On top of that, the board's decisions and rules have faced constant legal challenges, further slowing things down. The numbers tell a stark story. Public records and reporting show that the number of formal rulings from the NLRB has dropped significantly in recent years compared to its historical average. This has created a massive backlog. High-profile union election cases, even at major companies you've definitely heard of, are left unresolved for incredibly long periods. Labor analysts are sounding the alarm, pointing out that when decision-making slows to a crawl, it creates a fog of uncertainty that hangs over everyone, both workers who just want a fair shake and employers who need clarity on the rules. Now, you might be thinking, okay, a government agency is slow. What else is new? But this isn't just bureaucratic red tape. This has real, tangible consequences for millions of working people. A union election isn't just a vote, it's a turning point. It's the moment workers gain the legal right to sit down with their employer and formally negotiate over things that matter most: their wages, their healthcare, their retirement, and their safety on the job. When the enforcement system stalls, it gives a huge advantage to employers who want to fight unionization. They can use the delays to challenge the election results, refuse to recognize the union, or drag out the process for years, hoping that workers will eventually give up and move on. We've heard directly from workers who've been through this. They describe the incredible high of winning their election, feeling like they finally have a voice, only to be followed by months, or even years, of frustrating silence and legal delays. It's demoralizing. Economists warn that this prolonged uncertainty is bad for the whole economy. It can suppress wage growth, weaken job security, and make it impossible for families to plan for their future when their rights at work are left hanging in the balance. To really appreciate how unusual this situation is, let's look back at history. Under previous administrations, both Republican and Democrat, the NLRB simply processed more cases. It issued a much higher volume of decisions each year. This meant union elections were certified faster, labor disputes were resolved more quickly, and the entire system functioned with more predictability. And historically, when the system worked efficiently and union participation was strong, the benefits were clear. We saw higher average wages across the board, not just for union members. Workplaces became measurably safer. More families had access to good healthcare and retirement benefits, and workers enjoyed greater job stability. Many researchers argued that this system of collective bargaining created a vital balance of power. It ensured that as companies grew more profitable, their workers shared in that prosperity. It was a fundamental part of the American dream. The current slowdown threatens to unravel that historic balance, shifting power heavily back towards large employers. So what's driving this change? It's a mix of policy shifts, political battles, and ongoing legal debates. A major factor has been those board vacancies we talked about. When the board can't function at full strength, everything slows down. At the same time, we've seen revisions to labor rules and new legal interpretations that have changed how labor law is enforced. And like many federal agencies, the NLRB has faced staffing and budget pressures that limit its ability to investigate cases and enforce the law effectively. Now, the debate over these changes is fierce. Supporters argue that some of these shifts are necessary to create more efficiency or legal clarity for businesses. They might say that the old rules were outdated and needed to be streamlined for a modern economy. On the other hand, critics, including many labor advocates and workers, argue that these changes have a clear and simple effect. They weaken enforcement and strip away protections that workers have relied on for generations. It's a classic debate about where to strike the balance. The economic impact of this debate is huge and affects everyone, whether you're in a union or not. Most experts agree on a basic principle: when workers have less bargaining power, the economic outcomes tend to shift. We generally see slower wage growth, as individual workers have less leverage to ask for a raise. Benefits like healthcare and paid time off can be reduced, and job security can become weaker, as employers have more flexibility to make changes without negotiation. On the flip side, businesses gain more control and flexibility to adapt to market changes. The core question at the center of this debate is, how do we balance the need for businesses to be competitive with the need for workers to have a secure and dignified life? The answer to that question will define our economy for decades to come. With the federal system moving so slowly, people aren't just sitting around and waiting. We're seeing a two-pronged response. First, some states are stepping up. States like New York and California, for example, have started exploring ways to expand their own state-level labor protections to fill the gap left by federal inaction. They're trying to create a safety net at the local level. Second, and perhaps more importantly, workers and unions are not giving up. They are continuing to organize in workplaces across the country. From coffee shops to tech giants, they are pursuing legal challenges in the courts to fight back against delays and unfavorable rulings, and they are actively advocating for policy reforms to strengthen the NLRB and fix the broken system. These actions highlight a crucial point. The labor movement has never been just about one government agency. It's always been driven by the grassroots organizing of workers, by public awareness campaigns, and by legal and political battles fought on multiple fronts. So, after all of that, what's the bottom line? Here are the key takeaways. First, the US labor system, which is supposed to be the referee between employers and workers, is under serious strain. This is leading to slow enforcement and a lot of uncertainty. Second, these delays in federal decision-making have a direct impact on how quickly union elections are certified and labor disputes are resolved, often leaving workers in limbo. And third, the outcome of the ongoing legal and policy debates will have a massive impact on the future of your wages, your working conditions, and your ability to have a voice on the job. The system is at a crossroads, and the direction it takes will affect us all. If you found this breakdown of US labor policy helpful and want more clear, fact-based analysis of the economy, please consider subscribing to the channel. Your support helps us continue to make videos like this, and we really want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and let us know. Do you think labor protections will eventually be strengthened, or is this era of uncertainty the new normal? Thanks for watching.